What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're going to take a look at Fansproject CA-10 T-Bone, otherwise known as Wild Rider. Quick look at the box. Very typical Fansproject packaging, nothing fancy. Moving on, we actually have T-Bone himself, and he is... there we go. Didn't want to focus on him for a minute there. He's a pretty cool car. I don't think that he's modeled after anything. I'm not familiar with what car this would be. I know that this would be your, like the Lamborghini Revington, but I'm not sure what this particular one is. But yeah, he's still cool. He doesn't roll as well as Car Crash does because, I don't know, something about these tabs underneath, something's a little bit too big. I've transformed him once and he rolled just fine, but now he doesn't really seem to want to roll. Just a little, not much. I don't care. Doesn't really bother me. As long as he looks good sitting on the shelf, that's all I care about. He does store his guns the exact same way that Car Crash did, except since his guns are a little bit different, I don't think it looks quite as good. Just a little bit of a comparison there. I'm not going to pull out the scouts for this guy. You can see that in Car Crash's video from last week if you're interested. And then here we go with his actual G1 self. Yeah, not a whole ton to say there. Alright, so actually transforming him is pretty much exactly the same as Car Crash slash Breakdown. Just a different outer shell, just as everyone kind of suspected. We'll start by taking the guns off. Well, we already started by splitting him in half here. Then what we'll do is unpeg the arms here and just kind of get this all out of the way. And you can do the legs first if you want, whichever. It really doesn't matter. But just kind of take that out. In fact, let's actually get to the legs. Open up the little flap here. Actually, I find for the legs it's easiest to unpeg the toe pieces first. And then you actually have a ton of clearance on this one just because of how he's molded. You can't bring it all the way up like that on Car Crash. Which actually allows this red flap to open more. If it's down, it doesn't really open all that far. And you'll just swing it all out. And of course, plug in the leg down here. And we might as well do the toe while we're down here. Again, the same type of deal, just a lot easier to do on him than it is on Car Crash. Like so. And we'll take this, fold it on in, and there's one foot. And we'll come back to the other side, unpeg all this. This one has another peg here that pegs into the inner part of the hood, which does make it a little bit more difficult to make things come together and go apart, but not that bad. So we take this and we plug that on in. We'll do the foot here again, kind of pull the front part down, or the outer part down and the back part in so you can actually move them. Close that flap, rotate his wheel on in here, there we go. And I'm looking at his legs backwards, there we go, like that. Let's clean this up here. I will say I think the legs on Car Crash do look a tad bit cleaner than they do on T-Bone, but they're not bad still. Now we'll come back to the arms. Let's raise this up so you make sure you're seeing it. We'll take this backpack piece and just kind of fold it down. So a lot of people don't like this backpack part. I don't really find it's all that detracting. Take this, pull out his arms. Whoops. I hate when those come off, they're such a pain. And we'll pull these out. He is a lot more stiff than Car Crash is, which really sucks because he's got all kinds of really sharp angles on this car. And I believe I just pierced my thumb with the body of his robot mode here. Oh, we can bring this down here. Let me take him off camera for a second so I can repeg this back on, because these are a big pain in the rear to try to get back on camera. Alright, we've got him situated there. These back panels can be moved a lot more than the ones on Car Crash, so you can kind of move them around as you want. But he does look pretty good in his robot mode here. We'll take his gun, and same type of deal here. You just kind of plug it on in. You can have the rail at the bottom, or it'll still fit with the rail at the top, whichever you prefer. I kind of like it at the top. I think officially they show it at the bottom. Whatever you like. I don't know, this feels more like kind of like an assault rifle that way to me. So, we'll give him his gun. And posability on this guy still very good. You got that great shoulder joint here. Nice ball joints, get it all the way around. Elbow, upper arm swivel, the hands rotate. Ball joint here, waist, knee, I mean everything you could want. He is a great figure. So let's take a look at his head sculpt here real quick before we bring in some of the size comparisons or whatever. It is pretty good. He looks maybe like he's a little bit more, I don't know. He's not as kind of annoyed looking as Car Crash is, but still looks good. In fact, can we bring Car Crash in here so you can see them both? There you go. That's a pretty decent picture, I would say. So let's actually bring Car Crash in. You can see they do look very good together. They have nice shelf presence, in my opinion. I just really like how these guys look. I still stick by the statement that I don't know if these are worth their cost individually, but hopefully when Motormaster comes, you really feel like you've made that difference in money up. So, we'll see there. And I guess for our final piece here, come on Car Crash, what are you doing? Stand normal like. Let's actually bring in the G1 Wild Rider here just for comparison. So, yep, this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I will see you next week.